Well, good day all. Ira Epstein, and here we are with your Spider ETF stock market wrap-up. And this wrap-up is for Tuesday, and we're at the 15th of October, 2024. Well, the Biden administration put a kibosh for a little bit on the rally that we had. As I said yesterday, they were looking for and considering putting limits on what can be sold in the top-end chips to other places besides the ones they're limiting to now. Why? They're concerned that what could happen is data centers form over the use of these top chips that America is making, and our enemies get into those data centers via arrangements with whoever has those data centers abroad that are not U.S. people, and that could hurt American technology. Okay. I'm not sure I agree with that or don't agree with it, but it's what the Biden administration said. And with that, the chip makers started falling. And we also saw ASML miss by quite a bit. On the positive side, the banks just did phenomenal. All the banks so far, the big boys that have reported, it's blowout time. They're doing really well. Trading units doing well because interest rates went back up. Money being made. Even Charles Schwab went up because the deposits sat. They didn't move around on them so much this time, and they went up. They had a stellar day. Just really good information going on there. But NVIDIA down $6. Okay, that's a big break. So you had the market pull back. When you look at the Bollinger Band, you will understand why the market's pulled back there. The break today, was Monday a big rally day? Again, the Trader's Almanac. If you've never read it, go read it, all right? Often Mondays, big Mondays, are led by breaks on Tuesday. Not necessarily a big break, but a pullback on a Tuesday. It's one of the rules. I used to have Yale Hirsch, who was the author of it, and I understand his son runs it now, on my TV shows, and we would talk about that. I still like Amazon a lot here. Schwab up $4, as I said today, off news like that. Home Depot acting very nice. What Home Depot's saying is, hey, if the American economy is this strong, we're in pretty darn good shape. Now, did any of you catch the Trump interview on Bloomberg? All you had to do is look at Mr. Ego say, I can do it, I can do it. They're scared of me. As soon as I come there, we do it. We want Musk to come in and do cost controls if he's willing to do it because America pays too much. And his favorite word in the dictionary, his being Trump's, is tariffs. If you don't open your markets up to us, and you want to bring your goods here, we'll tariff them so much that you'll want to build a plant here to sell your goods. And that's his idea of how he's going to govern. I'm not criticizing it. I'm saying that's it. There was no fact-checking going on, and it was typical Trump. But at least we got to see him talk. He did it in front of a business forum, and it wasn't as much of the usual I. And that was appreciated, I think, by a lot of us. All right. And as we look at the rest of the market, the airlines were up a little bit. Dell down again today. Uber down for a change. AMC seems to be finding a home right here at the 415 level. I'm curious to see what Rivian did. Rivian had a bearish embedded reading that it lost. It normally means the market's going to get a rally from here, and we'll see if that holds true over the coming days. Now, the chart that I was focusing on, and I rarely keep something on for 2 weeks in a row, was K-Web. I did it because two reasons. Number one, I couldn't do any shows over the weekend. I had an allergy attack, and it just lasted, and I couldn't speak for more than a minute or two, and I'd be hacking. But this weather's helping. It's cold, it's rainy, and the pollen's down. Well, as you can see, the market came down here and left an island, as I call it. And now you've got your gaps that are starting to come and fall apart. Where's the market headed is the big question. Well, the trend is down via the swing line, lower highs and lower lows. I thought you might hold the 18-day average. You went through it like it doesn't exist. Are we going back to where the whole thing began? Or is it going to be the Bollinger Band? Since the Bollinger's under everything, it's somewhere down here that unless China steps in and says something, this market has just caught a whole group of people, and I guarantee they're nervous at this point in time. So either China steps in and says something or the market weighs on itself. But bearish action all the way through, quickly into oversold territory, and you left a whole group of people up here stranded. And that's what island tops do. They're nasty when they occur, and they don't occur often. In Rivian, here's what I said. You lost the bearish embedded reading. And when this occurs, and I'll show it to you right through here as it develops. If you haven't taken my course, you want to take it. I don't show all the tricks right here to it. The numbers are staying under 20, and you've got them for more than several days in a row. Then it loses the number. If that number's not gained back by going back under 20 the very next day, what takes place is you start saying that unless the market gets back under the most recent low, which is right here, the odds favor price and the 18-day average are going to try to make a run at each other. Well, today you attempted that. Well, this is yesterday. You attempted that. You gave back a little bit of it, but I haven't given up on the idea. Even if both numbers get under 20 tomorrow, it doesn't mean anything. On my work, you just don't want to get under that number. Otherwise, I'm looking for the 1080 number, 1050 number. The 18-day average, if you look at it, is slipping by about 14, 15 cents a day. Yeah. See how 1102 and now 1086? So probably the 1060s tomorrow. That wouldn't surprise me get there. I'd be more than happy with that type of move in the market. I'm not saying it's bullish. I said CrowdStrike looked heavy to you as we came back on yesterday. You're overbought into the Bollinger Band, first move over the 100-day average. It's probably a candidate to go back to the 18-day average to regroup. In uranium, I'm liking what I'm hearing. There was more signing today of Google getting into a deal with, I think it's Kronos, and building of small nuclear plants, with the U.S. giving about $300 million in seed money to see if this thing can get off the ground. I didn't read if Google is throwing in any seed money, but they're probably doing it in a reverse way where they'll guarantee what they'll pay in megawatt hours. We'll see how this goes. It's a new technology too. Instead of using water to cool down the reactor, it's going to be using, I think it's heavy salt that they said. So you got to keep your eye on these things. You're at a revolution in this. This is a new industry that's going to pop up. And it's right in front of you. And what's going to make this market go is that these big data centers need this, but as it goes that way, you'll get to the point now in the technology, because you want to get away from carbon, that if you can develop safe ways to run mini nuclear plants, there's a whole business out there waiting for them and willing customers, and it'll dribble down eventually into the public arena. Not to start with, there'll be big business that does this because they need the energy desperately for these data centers and other conditions that they have going. But I like what I'm seeing. By the way, you still have the embedded reading at work, and until it's lost, this market's still very bullish. In Linn, as with the other parts of China, now it's starting to come down, lost the embedded reading. I think price and the 18-day average are going to meet up now. I expect it any moment here. In Toll Brothers, well, you went up this morning, and as I told traders, be careful. This market's ahead of itself at the upper Bollinger Band. I said the same thing with the construction, the S&P home builders, and same thing. You went up to the band, pulled back. But these are good signs. These aren't bad signs. I think the market is anticipating that this rise that we've had in interest rates, and we've gone from roughly in the 10-year, 3.7, 3.6, back to 4.03, 4.06. Maybe it's running its course. And that would be what gets this all going. I don't know, but it could be. In the financial sector, now all kinds of money being made because interest rates went back up. It helped the banks in the third quarter. Did you see all the banks reporting so far? All the big boys are showing blowout numbers. I mean, it's just rock and roll time, and that means the smaller banks are going to do fine, all right? Not as necessarily as good with they don't have the trading departments and everything the big boys do that are adding, but they certainly have deposits they're making money on, and away you go in that. And so you're looking at this market saying things are good. Now, if interest rates start rolling over and falling, that can change the game on you. The industrial sector has had me scratching my head all the way through. I mean, If you looked at today, we had the New York Empire manufacturing numbers. I consider that industrial sector. Last month it went up 11.5. It gave it all back. The whole shoot and caboodle. Nobody was looking for that in today's report. So I'm confused. Energy sector, well, this one's not a hard one to get. China, 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 China. China does nothing. China, China, China. That's really what it is. In addition, Israel attacking Iran, Israel not attacking Iran. At least the oil infrastructure. In the gold market, still acts bullish. Why not the upper Bollinger Band? You're not overbought. You're in an uptrend. You can see the battleground's 244.47, but I can see the market getting up to the upper Bollinger Band. Right now it's 247.71. It'll drop a little bit with this, but I think it's going to make its run there. And if silver can clear 28.87 and close over that, I think it can lift itself and begin its move to the upside. So I think tomorrow's going to be real important in silver, whereas copper is disappointment because of China. This is all about China. This is where they began their stimulus, and they did a great job, and they completely blew it over the past 10 days as the Planning Commission came out, the Vice Premier came out, and they all said nothing. And the market's now punishing the copper market again, taking it the complete opposite way. Bonds and notes, well, this is what I'm talking about. You're on the verge here in BND of tomorrow when you reopen losing the bearish embedded reading. Unless futures markets drop sharply tonight, which means yields higher. It's an inversion market. This market's poised to get over the 21 level. And if so, are we going to go back to wherever that 18-day average comes in? This is a market that could see short covering tomorrow, depending on how that works out. Whereas the dollar continues on its spree that it's the strongest of the currencies, got the best fundamentals. I don't see the Fed having the cut again in November. I think the market's going up in part because of that, whereas the euro, you're probably going to see that cut, and that's why it is falling at this point in time. I have a lot to talk about tomorrow as the charts start coming in better. I'm also going to be I'm looking for the special report I'm going to knock off. I have every intent of knocking one off tomorrow, and I'll tell you about it in these market reviews. In the meantime, have a great evening. I'll catch up with you in the morning.